We live in a time where the individual person has less sex than ever before, and this is exactly why pornography, fetish content, and chatbot AI still exists in the modern landscape of our time. In more primitive societies, every person, no matter what gender, age, or sex, had. Fuck, I messed up. In primitive societies, every person, no matter what gender or age, has sex with other humans, a disproportionately large amount when compared to the average human today. The average relationship is held down by the standards of our culture and society. In primitive hunter gatherer societies, people did what they had to do to survive. Hunting for food and making shelter is incredibly time consuming, therefore, humans did not have enough time on their hands to create a complex cultural society or cultural norms. So, therefore, cultural norms did not stop them from having sex with whoever they pleased. In primitive societies, when people felt they wanted to engage intimately with another person, they would simply do that because they needed to, and that's how it worked. Some people would say this is rape, but primitive societies did not have a concept or cultural context of rape. In truth, I don't think they really cared that much about it, because they were not taught to care about such things like we are in the modern age. Sexual activity was incredibly common in these people's daily or weekly lives, but in ours it is exceedingly rare. The average frequency of sex between men and women between 18 and 21 is once a month. That's insane to me. Of course, this sort of sex would make the average person turn to alternative methods like masturbation, and with the modern digital age, the majority of the population has access to the internet and therefore access to pornographic sites. The porn industry is one of the worst I've ever seen. They have a grip on our society tighter than many other individual industries. They manipulate young boys and girls to give in and become addicted to pornography. Porn addiction is a real thing and is not talked about as much as any other forms of addiction. However, it is one of the easiest ones to fall into because you do not need anything to do it. You don't need any tools. You don't need to do any shady dealings like you would with drugs. You don't need any tools to log on to a porn site and jerk off. Even I feel victim to this trap when I. Fuck. Even I fell victim to this trap when I was 11. My addiction started. I was looking up things about Minecraft. I can't remember what. It was like a character or something, but I looked up things about Minecraft and I was flashed with images of animated pornography, even when I was on Safe Search. It gotten so bad. It has gotten so bad I have become hypersexual and cannot even go a day without relapsing into it again. The only emotion I have about my body, other than my hatred for it, is lust over my own form, and I hate that. The porn industry cannot function with kids like me, with cannot function without kids like the 11-year-old me watching it and becoming addicted. It cannot function without people watching and creating content for it. So of course it would prey on children to watch and create said content, especially the animated side. Sites like Rule 34 and E621, those sites absolutely do prey on children by luring them in with bright colors and not needing verification to access them. Children are naturally curious, and industry like this feeds off that. It is normal for a child to be curious. It is not normal for a 12-year-old to jerk off every day, and that is happening on an international scale. If your society has the majority of its people addicted to one thing like this, it is not a healthy society. This also applies to fetish content. I have noticed that many strange fetishes I have seen are direct correlations to objects, actions, and concepts faced in the life of a child. I do not believe an adult man or woman would develop a fetish like a fart fetish. Fetishes only exist because of the romanticization and sexualization of ideas or objects and concepts from an individual's childhood. Ideas, objects, and concepts which can only be seen as sexual when put under the light that the environment has created around the child. They can only be seen as sexual when the environment says they are sexual to the child.